Hey guys, this is Kathy with another blog breakdown. It is Sunday, February 23rd, and I'm here with
Brian.
Hey guys, Brian's joining me for the blog breakdown. So here is our Facebook page. As you can see, please join if you haven't. And I have a few articles pulled up that we're going to talk about, articles that I've seen on various vlogs throughout the week that I'd like to go through.
Can we just, what is this Virgin Trains? Can we just start with
Let's
that?
start with
That's
that, okay?
Virgin Trains. What is that about?
Well, it's not what you think. It's the Virgin brand of, Richard Branson.
Oh, okay.
Is, they're building a train.
Like Virgin Airlines.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this is a Miami base. Now, they've talked about this for a long time, and we live in South Florida, so this has been in the news down here for quite a bit. The Miami-based intercity rail company's plans to connect Orlando and then to Tampa are now including a stop at Walt Disney World, which is amazing.
Okay.
I didn't know they were going to include that initially.
Here's the thing, okay? Now, this would be different now if you don't live in Florida and you're visiting Miami. That might be a good thing. But what I'm curious about is how long does it take to take the train from Miami to Walt Disney World? Is the train going to actually let you off at Walt Disney World, or is it going to be in Orlando, and then you have to find other transportation?
Okay, from what I'm reading is
it worth it?
It says here the plan is to have the main station at the Port of Miami. So a lot of Disney cruise ships leave from Miami. So they're trying to connect, I guess, the cruise people. And it says here, from what I'm reading, that the train line is going to go from the Port of Miami to the Orlando airport and then across to Tampa and have a stop near Disney World. Okay. So I'm assuming Disney World will have transportation like they have the Magical Express. I'm assuming they'll have the Magical Express from the train station to... This is a huge undertaking,
here's
by the
what
way.
I wonder. So does it say if it's going to go directly nonstop from Miami to Orlando and then to Disney World? Because I've taken the train, Amtrak, in Florida, and Amtrak stops all the time. It's faster to drive than take the train because there's so many stops.
Well, we don't have all the major details. It's a huge multi-billion-dollar undertaking. It says does not have a location on the theme park's giant property as of yet, but they're now saying that, Virgin has been talking about doing a train from Miami to Orlando to Tampa for a long time. So now they're saying in this article, it's a $4 billion undertaking, Orlando to Miami route.
They say it's going to be done by 2022?
Yeah, so it says here, would bring the train into a station at OIA's Intermodal Terminal facility.
Orlando International Airport.
Okay, which commenced last May and should be completed by 2022. It says, but it's saying here that they think it's going to make a stop, like probably, near Disney on its way to Tampa. So that's like a huge thing. It's really going to connect. But as far as other stops, I don't know. I know trains do make a lot of stops along the way. So I'm assuming that the train will make a few stops, maybe in Palm Beach County.
Well, there's a couple of big stops because if you're heading north, there's Miami, the Port of Miami, a lot of cruise ships there.
There's a huge population down here.
Probably what Disney is thinking is there's a lot of people that take cruise ships into Miami. I do all the time too, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. That's why they're doing it.
So they're trying to grab those people to go to Disney because actually to drive from Miami to Walt Disney World is over 3 hours. It's close to 4.
Oh, it's close to 4.
It's a long drive.
South Beach is an hour from us. And Disney, if we go to Disney and we drive with no traffic and perfect weather
and no stops,
the best time we've made is 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours, yeah.
Door to door, and we've done that like once. It's usually a good 2 hours 45 minutes. South Beach is an hour from us.
Yeah, Miami,
maybe 50 minutes.
Yeah, the Port of Miami is very far.
So the Port of Miami is even further. So this is a train that's going to go specifically from the Port of Miami to take all those Disney cruise ship people. As part of then they'll buy train tickets and they'll hop on the train and vice versa. They could go from the park to the cruise. A lot of people do that now. A lot of people go to the park and then they take a ride over to Cape Canaveral to the coast and hop on the ships there.
I got to tell you, in Miami, they are not going to like that because now people come into the Port of Miami and then they do tourist things all over Miami. If there's a train going to Walt Disney World, it is going to be loaded and sold out every time it leaves. and it's going to take a lot of tourists away from Miami.
Well, sure. I mean, because not only do people on the Disney cruises get to buy tickets, anybody can buy a ticket, but I'm curious to see if it makes stops along the way because there is such a huge population down here in South Florida from Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami counties. And a lot of people, I don't know if you guys realize this, but where we live, in Southeast Florida, which is probably the largest concentration of population, I would say, in the state, these three counties, a lot of people have annual passes. I mean, probably thousands. I mean, tens of thousands, maybe more. Every time we drive to Disney, we see dozens of cars with annual pass magnets driving on that even in our neighborhood. I mean, there's a lot of annual pass holders down here that go for the day.
Even though we're 2.5, 3 hours away.
Yeah, they'll go for the day, overnight, for the weekend. A lot of weekend travelers. So I think it's a great thing. I'm excited. I hope they make some stops in Palm Beach. You know, there's big train stations there, and maybe they'll make 1 or 2 stops along the way because there's a lot of people down here that do go to Disney. I don't know if it's going to be a direct shot from the port to Orlando. It could be that too. It could be one of those super fast trains that doesn't make a lot of stops, that just zips on through. But, you know, so we'll see what happens with that.
I will take it once just to experience it since it's down here. But I think it would be like I could fly. I could fly really cheap from here in South Florida to the Orlando airport. But by the time I drive to the airport, it's a short flight, like 20 minutes, right? So I got to drive to the airport. I got to wait to board. Then I get to the Miami airport. I got to
take like 3 hours.
Plane. Then I got to take a transportation. It's faster for me to drive than to fly to Disney World from here. So the train, it would not be good for a local.
But it'd be fun to do once. And what I'm curious about is if it's going to go from, they said here that they have the route from Miami to the Orlando airport will be ready, what did it say, by 2022?
Yeah.
So if they go from Orlando to Tampa, which they've been planning, I know there's a lot of traffic in Orlando. I'm not familiar with the area, but where is there? I've never seen a train around there. Where is the train?
Well,
they've got to have train tracks somewhere.
There is the train tracks here in Florida run straight north.
No, but what about? But I'm saying, what about? Yeah, here I know where the train tracks are.
Yeah, they have trains that go across the state too.
But would you know where they are up there?
Not on the roads to Disney.
I've never seen a train up there.
But I'm sure they have tracks already. They're not talking about laying new track.
Too bad they can't connect to the Disney train.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, right. They're not talking about laying new tracks. They're talking about adding stations off the tracks that already exist. That's how they can get it done so fast.
So I'm curious to know if anybody is in that area. Leave in the comments how far is the train? How far are the train tracks from here? I know where the train tracks are. They run up like right along Dixie Highway.
I would guess the train tracks are not far from Walt Disney World because they're freight trains bring in a lot of things for everything up there.
Yeah, I would imagine when Walt built the park back in the day, that was a factor because they had to bring in all kinds of stuff. Another story that we are going to talk about here. This is in the Orlando theme park zone. This is a really good online blog or whatever you call it.
I like this site.
Really good. They have a lot of great information. We read them a lot. And this just came out yesterday. 50 enhancements for Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary. And this article really breaks down what is going to be going on. And there's really a lot that's happening at the parks.
Okay.
More than I thought.
This article, I saw this article because you sent it to me. And when I saw the article, there was one thing I was looking for, and it's not in the article.
Which is?
I don't see anything in here about us getting new monorails.
No.
And
which we need.
The monorails at Walt Disney World at one time were kind of like the crown. I would say like the crown jewel of Walt Disney World. Oh, it's so new and modern. Look at these, and they look pretty beaten up. And I know they've done. Some have gone through refurbishments.
You were on one that was refurbished. What was it like?
I've been on all the ones with refurbishments.
And what were they like?
And they're very nice on the inside. They've got new air conditionings in them that work.
Oh, well, that's good.
So, it's not as hot. The refurbished monorails are very nice, but they're still old, and they look old on the outside.
And they're not as nice as the ones they just sent to Tokyo.
No, and when I am...
I mean, they have like Mickey Mouse-shaped windows.
Yeah, I notice it most when I'm at Epcot than at the Transportation Center, but when I'm at Epcot and the monorail's coming in over the park, They look like, I mean, they look like what they
Oh, well,
are.
they
They
are.
look like beat up used
They're
cars.
almost like 30 years old or 25 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
and
need to be replaced.
so that is not one of the 50 upgrades for the 50th, but maybe they'll surprise us.
Maybe. I'm thinking they are. I'm thinking that,
one day they'll just be
Braden
there.
on Mickey Views reported a while ago that they were building, they had a contract with some
Yeah.
company. They were building new
Yes,
monorails.
they have said that.
I'm thinking it's going to be a big unveiling and they're
Yeah.
going to be like, surprise.
Surprise.
I hope, because they're spending so much money on other stuff, which is good, but that's really, to me, a vital thing.
Well,
it's not, it's a necessity more than a luxury.
When they, the monorails, like I say, the monorail are like the signature of Walt Disney World, and to have old, beaten up,
Disneyland has new ones. Theirs are nice.
Yeah, but at Disneyland, the monorails are a little different because it's not. It's transportation at Disneyland, but not as much as it is at Disney World. I mean, you can get around Disneyland with it, but there
it's more like a ride.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little. I know they have stops and everything, but here in Walt Disney World, it's like necessary. And I kind of find it embarrassing that they've got. I know they look nice on the inside, the refurbished ones, but they still don't look good on the outside. And I'll tell you another thing.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Is Mickey Views did an entire vlog on this a couple weeks ago. It's a very good one. Is how dirty the monorail tracks are.
It's very dirty.
You know, when you see,
I notice that every time I go. Oh, I'm like, they need to bleach this or clean it or pressure clean it or something.
Well, the monorail tracks, when you see that black, that's dirt, but it's also mold and mildew.
I was going to say it looks like black mold.
It's mold and mildew. And
mildew, which is very rampant in Florida.
And what Disney has done that kind of makes it stand out even more is they have cleaned some of the tracks, but not all of them. And when you're going around the different roads and everything, driving around Walt Disney World, you'll see a lot of the monorail tracks are completely clean. And then it just stops, and then it's all black after that.
Well, maybe they're working on it.
So new monorails and clean the tracks.
Well, so this is a good article. It has a lot of great things they're adding, which sounds really cool. They're going to have an explosion at the end of the Big Thunder Mountain.
Okay, now they have
a finale explosion.
Okay, now they have,
which sounds cool.
That I think at Disneyland the same thing. Okay, at Disneyland's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. It's not an explosion, but you're in the cavern and there's all these like spark things that are like tiny little like explosions.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if that is
the same or maybe different.
Well, what I've wondered for...
Oh, it says here, this element was recently added to Disneyland and Disneyland Paris, so that must be what you're talking about.
Yeah, I saw Justin Scard was on Thunder Mountain Railroad at Disneyland, and I saw that, and I thought to myself, wait a minute, I wonder if we have that here and it's just broken. But apparently I did not really, it's new.
Well, now they updated here that the finale explosion might not be added. Okay, so we'll find out. We just don't know.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Now, this is interesting. The Jungle Cruise.
Oh, I figured that was
they're going to do updates based on the movie. Did this movie come out? Did I miss this?
It has not come out yet.
So The Rock, we love The Rock in this family. We go to all his movies. Well, most of them, but we do love The Rock. And I remember when they did the overlay or the change to Pirates with Johnny Depp. Yeah. And I remember when we first saw that with Johnny Depp, and I was like, my God, this looks just like him. Like, it really looks like he's there. So when they came out with this movie, when I heard about it, I remember we talked about it, and I said, are they going to have animatronics of The Rock and Emily Blunt and the characters? So if any ride needs an update, it's this one. This is one of the original rides.
I don't agree. I mean, I
think it's fun to add new stuff.
I don't mind bringing The Rock in. And, and you know they're going to do some promo where The Rock
himself is out there. But the ride hasn't really changed that much.
Yeah, they'll have The Rock out there instead of his animatronic. They'll probably have his animatronic out there with the headhunters or something.
Some, like, kind of poking through the trees.
They'll be through the whole thing. And you know they'll do a...
like to Johnny Depp, they did with Pirates.
Yeah, you know they'll do a promo where The Rock is actually there.
Yeah, they did that with Johnny Depp in L.A., which was really cool.
Yeah.
So that I'm excited about, and I figured they would be doing that. The Jungle Cruise, it's one of the original rides. It's a fun ride. They did do an update, I think, like 20, 30 years ago. I could be wrong, but that ride needs a bit of an update.
No, it's pretty much the same as it was when it's open. If anything, they've done maintenance on the car thing. You don't like the Jungle Cruise that much?
It's not my favorite ride, but I'm actually, you know what it is? I don't even want to say because it's so unpopular.
Well, you don't like the jokes?
Not really.
I
I
think the
mean,
jokes
they're
are
okay.
hilarious.
Some of them are funny, but some of them I'm
I
like,
think
oh
they're
my god.
awesome.
Yeah, I know. They're really campy.
Jungle
I know
Cruise,
that's so unpopular, right, to say that.
Jungle Cruise is one of my favorite rides.
Yeah, well, it's kind of growing on me because last time we were there, we did not ride the Jungle Cruise, and now I'm thinking maybe I will like the Jungle Cruise. I don't know. My mind is changing a little
Now
bit.
they're
on
adding
that.
some things to the railroad, and the railroad, which is closed now because of Tron, is
They've laid new tracks. They have laid new tracks.
Yeah, I've seen them doing that. Now the railroad, a lot of people won't remember this, but it has gone through changes over the years. Now you can't go on it, but most recently, the last maybe 20 years, when you go through the Indian village, it's Pocahontas, and then it's the whole thing from the movie. And the way
where?
Yeah.
That's Pocahontas?
Yeah. Who
You
else
sure?
would it be? Yeah, sure.
I don't know, Sacagawea. I don't know. There's other famous
It could be
Native Americans.
Well, the way it used to
or
be,
just a generic people. But it is a specific.
Well, maybe I'm wrong about that, but it's a peaceful Indian village.
Yes.
When I was a kid, when you went through the Indian village on the railroad at Walt Disney World, the guy would come on. All right, duck down. And the Indians would attack.
They got rid of that.
Yeah, and
it's not politically correct.
The Indians would attack you, and they had a clothesline. There's a clothesline there with clothes now.
I remember,
but it used to be scalps.
Yes.
It was a clothesline of of scalps. Who I guess from guests of Walt Disney World, they were captured from the train, and the Indians would shoot at you, and then you'd escape. But then they. When Pocahontas came out, they changed it to a peaceful Indian village.
I see. Well, maybe they should, it would be cool.
That was a lot of fun as a kid. Duck down!
Well, and they used to shoot at the elephants. If you watch old videos of Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, they had a gun.
The driver of the boat had a prop gun.
Yeah.
And they would shoot at the elephants and the animals. Yeah. But I think it'd be really cool, since they do have a couple Pocahontas films, that they should change that whole village to Pocahontas and John Smith and incorporate that. I'm surprised they didn't do that and update those characters.
It doesn't say here what the changes are going to be, but there's two things I would like to see them add to the railroad.
Yeah.
One, I would like to see a station stop in Tomorrowland, which is something that originally they were going to do, and they have.
Well, they might now.
Because
they have one in Fantasyland, right?
Yeah, there's one you've got Adventureland, Fantasyland, and then the front of the park at Main Street. But it would be nice if they had one in Tomorrowland. I think it might help with some of the crowd, and it's going to get kind of strange. I wonder how they're going to do it, because the train is going to be going under in some way, shape, form, or another Tron. And Tron's going to be so modern. I don't know what they're going to do over there. Are they going to hide Tron when you are on the train?
Right now it goes through Splash Mountain, which is really cool. You see this. It goes through Splash Mountain ride, and you see part of the ride.
I don't mean it's going to go through it like that, because Splash Mountain kind of fits into the theme of the old time train.
But I don't know.
They haven't said. I don't know. I'd like them to have a train station over there where I can get off or on.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
If I could get on in Tomorrowland, because Tomorrowland's going to be crazy when Tron opens up.
The train is
awesome
really
to get to the front of the park and not have to walk through Main Street.
The train is a fantastic feature there that frankly I don't feel is utilized enough. I mean, when the train was running, we would get on the train when we first got in the park and take it to the back and do that whole back area first. And you could beat a lot of crowds that way, and then we'd work. And then the train, is a great feature. Yeah. So I'm glad when that'll be back.
Yeah.
It says here now, this is interesting. The Carousel of Progress is going to have a new finale scene and general freshening of the attraction. That definitely needs freshening, that ride. I mean, the guy's hand fell off a couple of weeks ago. So it's old stuff going on there.
I think that Carousel of Progress should not go away. It should stay there, because
absolutely. It's a staple.
It's really the only thing in the park that I can, and I may be wrong about this, that I can think of off the top of my head. It's the only thing in the park that at Walt Disney World that Walt Disney actually had his hands on, because
Small World too. Small World was at a World's Fair. Before Disney parks
that's
even
true.
opened.
Okay, so that and Small World.
Yeah, that's what kind of inspired
that. Because they had Small World. Yeah. So I would like to see every scene revamped and have the final scene as close to today as possible, and have the scenes skip a little bit more. I don't want to go from like 1900 to 1920. Maybe they should start in 1920 and then have bigger jumps, like from 1920 to the 50s,
Is
and
it
then
the same
immediately to
character
the
throughout?
80s.
Because he's like
Yeah.
130 years old.
Well, you got to have a little disbelief.
I know. Okay, so this is fun. It's a Small World, which it's surprising to me. A lot of people don't like this ride. I love It's a Small World. It was my grandmother's favorite ride, so it makes me think of her. I love that ride. I know the song's a little incessant and gets annoying after a while.
I don't think so when I ride.
I like it, though. It's colorful, and it makes me happy. It puts me in a good mood.
I'll tell you this about Small World.
Yeah.
Okay?
I love it.
You and I rode Small World about a year ago. And that was the first time I had been on It's a Small World in many, many, many years. And people constantly talk about how annoying the song is.
Yeah,
then we wrote it again recently. We write it all the time now. The song is not annoying. It's a lot of fun. And I think there's a lot of bad stereotyping about this ride. Like, people think it's annoying because everybody says it's annoying.
Maybe.
But it really is not annoying.
I just really tune it out. I mean, I kind of sit there and nod my head and sing it, but it doesn't bother me. But a lot of people hate that ride. But what's interesting is they're going to add some more Disney characters, which I think is so much fun. I think they have
this is very controversial.
I think they have Woody and Jessie, right, from Toy Story there. I think so. I think I've seen them there.
This is very controversial because they added at Disneyland some Disney characters, and when they announced they were going to do it, before they did it, a lot of people were like, you can't do this. This is Walt Disney. And they added them in, and the characters they've added in are appropriate to the place they add them. So people like it out there now. I think it's cool, and maybe more people will go on it.
Well, the ride is always busy, so it's still but every ride is busy.
Now this one here, they're going to do some updates to the Astro Orbiter. I don't know. Tomorrowland's going through a whole.
It's like they're going back to the way it used to be.
I'm very happy about this. They've already started doing this, and throughout Tomorrowland, they're taking off all that 90s era Jules Verne ugly stuff all over the park, and bringing it back.
They need to get rid of those rocks.
Yeah, it's like white and sleek when Tomorrowland was new.
That's how it originally
really awesome.
Was. Yeah,
and the Astro Orbiter was shut down last year for a couple months, and the cast member working on the ride, he told me that it breaks down a lot. It's reopened now, and it's okay. So I don't know what they're going to do to the Astro Orbiter, but
you like that ride?
I love it, and I like it. I like the original rocket cars better than now.
Yeah, see, we were watching a video of Disney World from the 80s, and I forgot how it looked. Now it has these. It has like a whole sculpture of like balls and everything in these cool shapes. But back in the day, it had just a rocket ship, a white rocket ship in the middle, because it looked
like more like a real rocket.
And the cars were like rockets because when Disney was first built in the late 60s, early 70s, it was the space race, and that was really big with everything going to the moon and all that. So that was the kind of the thinking when they built Tomorrowland. They had the mission to Mars, and they've kind of gotten away from all that thinking because we don't have like so much happening in that regard anymore. But hopefully they'll go back. The Tiki Room, I love the Tiki Room, and I don't mind changes as long as they keep it basically kind of the same with these older attractions. So we'll see what that happens. There are a lot of birds in movies, bird characters. Like, I thought they would have had Iago from Aladdin in the Tiki Room. So maybe they're adding some characters.
Well, and Swiss Family Treehouse, they say refurbishments. That's very vague, so we don't know what that means.
Right. Could just be maintenance.
But I gotta tell you, I love the Swiss Family Treehouse. I hope they keep it Swiss Family Treehouse. And what I'm hoping is, because of Disney Plus, they have the Swiss Family Robinson movie there. And by the way, if you go on Disney Plus, do not watch the original Swiss Family Robinson.
I like Thomas Mitchell. He's one of my favorite actors.
Watch the 60s era.
Yeah, it's good.
That's in color. Don't watch the old black and white when it's terminal.
Well, I watched both.
It takes them 2 hours to get to the island, it seems like.
Yeah, the one in the 60s, the color version.
It starts on the island.
Really good.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie, and
you'll appreciate the treehouse at the park a lot more.
You will, and I would like to see that movie redone. like a modern version. I think, I think that'd be good. Okay, the Tower of Terror, I have never been on that ride. They're adding new effects, and this I'm really excited about, even though I have never been on Expedition Everest, and I never will go on it because medically I'm not allowed, but they are finally repairing that huge Yeti that they had that broke down, and now it just kind of sits there menacingly staring at everybody. It's actually going to be an animatronic again. And I know it's one of the most complex ones they have, but they need to fix that. That's like a huge aspect of that ride.
Now, this next thing here, other attractions which may see enhancements, so we don't know. Now, Peter Pan's Flight, for them to do enhancements to that Peter Pan's Flight...
They added Ariel. They did a few changes a while ago.
That is one of the most popular rides at Walt Disney World, at Magic Kingdom. I mean, it maxes out real quick after the park opens, so I don't think they're going to want to shut that down for long. The mansion... I think the mansion here in Florida could use some upgrades.
They're always upgrading them. It doesn't seem like they're always... I mean, I was on it and it looked different to me.
It needs something, Yeah.
It's an awesome ride.
And Spaceship Earth's getting completely redone. And the American Adventure, we know Spaceship Earth's getting done. They announced that at D23. But the American Adventure, the thing about the American Adventure, it's very good, but it's pretty much the original with the movies changed a little bit. And it's a little long.
It's pretty cool though with Samuel Clemens. What's Mark Twain coming up and telling? It's cool. He's in it, right? Mark Twain.
But I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it a little more updated and shorter. It's to me.
How long is it?
Too long. It seems like it's like an hour. I know it's not an hour long, but it
just
drags to me.
We're going a week from Tuesday, and we're gonna go to the Epcot. We're gonna try to go to the Epcot Garden Festival for the afternoon. I want to eat at that barbecue restaurant, and I would like to go see the American Adventure because I have not seen it probably since the 90s.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I cannot tell you the last time.
Now, the Seas with Nemo and Friends. Yeah. Now, the Seas has been there. Used to be the Living Seas.
I don't like that ride. It's boring.
To me, the Seas. I know they can't do this because they've got all the life in there, But that building on the inside, I know they've got tanks in there, but it just feels damp and mildewy.
Well, first of all, I don't love animals in captivity, and I don't like aquariums. I know that sounds really weird, but that whole building is dated.
The whole building's dated.
It's like all that dark blue carpeting, and if they're gonna, the aquarium's cool, but if they're going to keep it there, which I guess you're right, they have to. They really need to update that building, take out that dark carpeting, paint the walls white. Paint some cool murals on the walls, like a fish and beautiful murals and things like that. And I think they've made it dark because they wanted you to look like you were in the ocean. Like it's got a dark feel and it's all blue. I thought it's
dark to kind of cover up all the old yucky building because it's so old.
No, but it's always been dark, and I think it's always been painted that way.
The sea.
To make it feel like you're in the ocean. It definitely needs an update on that building,
I'm very
sure.
Surprised that they didn't put Ariel in there a long time ago and waited until Nemo was around to put Nemo in there. But that Nemo ride's got to go. It's really it's so dated.
It's kind of just to me kind of a ride that they kind of threw together quickly to kind of have a ride that really there's not a lot of thought into it. To me, that's just my opinion. And I love Finding Nemo. It's a great movie. I don't like the one with Dory.
The Seas, I rarely go to the Seas. Rarely. And I don't know.
When it first opened, I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
But I was really into oceanography and into the ocean
time ago.
Back then. But that building needs a makeover, big time. They
Absolutely.
Can repaint the walls, put in wood floors, and make it really modern. And they can incorporate more of Nemo and Ariel and incorporate some of those characters into that as well.
If they got more into it being an institute and had there's a little bit of that feel there, but if it was a little more institute-y and modern and up to date and a little cleaner and not so dark on the inside, that'd be nice.
People go diving in that water. You can pay to go diving in that aquarium.
People do it every day.
I've never done that, but I don't know how big that aquarium is. I mean, it looks pretty big. Like it wraps around.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's expensive. I don't know if it's worth it to do that, but anyway, we'll see what happens with that. So this is something I just want to talk about real quick. this is a new hoodie, which I'm definitely going to have to get, but that's not what I'm talking about here. What I want to talk about is, that's the old Epcot logo, which is so cool. I did not know they're officially changing. They've officially declared that Epcot is all capital letters.
Yeah.
Okay, this week. I did not know that it was any different.
Yeah.
But it's an acronym for Experimental Prototype City of Tomorrow. When did people start using it as a word with lowercase letters? When did that become a thing?
When they stopped calling it Epcot Center officially. Whenever that was. Whatever year that was. When it went from Epcot Center to Epcot is when they stopped doing
Epcot to me has always been in all caps because it is an acronym.
Yeah.
Maybe people don't know this, but they made a huge thing today or this week saying that it's officially all capital letters.
I still call it.
They've got new merch coming out for it and everything.
I still call it Epcot Center.
Well, they should go back to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think. I mean, they could put a word center right
center
there.
Right underneath the.
Yeah. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring this up. We talked about this on a blog breakdown last week when Brian was not here, and I wanted to get your opinion. They've already started working on this. They've already, you can see they've brought out the paint and they're painting it darker blue with gold accents and pink. What do you think about this makeover?
I don't like it. I don't like it. And I'll tell you why I don't like it. I don't like it for two reasons. One, it looks like Disneyland now.
It does look like.
Okay, that's one reason.
In Paris.
Instead of our own Florida park. And second is, to my recollection, the castle has been, the color it is now was the color when it opened.
Yeah.
And
white with light blue.
I really like that nostalgia that it's, except when they did like that weird birthday cake thing.
But that was an overlay. That was a temporary thing.
I know they've done some temporary things. I like having the original look of the castle. I do not like this gold. I do not like the pink. That does not look like our park. I mean, to me, this is like when they took away our electrical light parade and moved it out of here. It's like they're, it's so odd to me because Fantasyland is getting back, or not Fantasyland, Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland is getting back to what the original Tomorrowland was with the white, sleek look.
Like the clean look.
And then they're doing this over at the castle and they're bringing it, a lot of people may not know, or maybe you guys all know, but when you're in Fantasyland, you're within the walls of the castle, and if you look up, you'll see castle walls all around, behind all of the rides.
You're like you're in the kingdom.
Yeah, you are inside
the castle area.
You're inside the walls of the castle.
Right, that's right.
The protective area. So I don't think people realized this when they talked about changing the color of the castle. This is going to be throughout all of Fantasyland because of that wall that goes behind Small World and everything. We're going to get this same overlay, and that's this picture to me. This is that's Small World over here. So where they've changed it is over there by It's a Small World.
Maybe
it looks like in this picture to me. So no, I don't like
unless this has been this way and but this has the new look with the pink and the
I don't like
and the gold.
I do not like it. I don't like the gold.
I like the castle white and it looks so pretty. I don't mind them if they paint, like, it definitely need a new paint job, and if they painted the blue like a little bit of a darker blue and maybe added gold, but they should have kept it white.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, when it's a nice sunny day and you see that white castle with the blue, it just looks good. And the pink, when this is done, it is going to look like a completely different castle. It is not the same castle, but I don't know if this is permanent or if this is just for next year, and then they're going to change it back.
Oh, no, that's permanent.
You think
that's a lot of work? Yeah, that's permanent. They plan on making this.
Well, why would they do this? Why all of a sudden, after 50 years, would they decide, let's make it look completely different?
Because they're planning.
It's so iconic.
They are planning big 50th anniversary celebration there. So all of this, including Tron, is all about the big ABC Wonderful World of Disney 50th anniversary special at Magic Kingdom. So that's what this is all about. But I got to tell you, I'm going to predict that they're going to go back to the original color because
I think you're right.
People are going to be so outraged by this. And I'll tell you, to me, it looks a little tacky, cheap.
Well, I saw a picture of the artist renditioning of it, of the whole picture. It's a lot of gold. It's a lot of gold, and when that Florida sun hits that gold, it is going to be impressive, but it can border the tacky area with a lot of the gold, but we'll see. But it is going to look like a completely different building. I will tell you that. Anyway, thanks so much, guys, for watching our blog breakdown. Thank you for joining us today, Brian. I really appreciate it. We appreciate you. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the parks.